Okay, we're going to look at solving equations by multiplying or dividing. Remember, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. The opposite of dividing is multiplying. Also, the opposite of, you need to keep in mind the word reciprocal as well. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this first problem. This is D divided by 8 equals 6, or the quotient of D and 8 is equal to 6. So something divided by 8 is equal to 6. Now what we want to do is we want to find out what D is. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, since we're dividing by 8, the opposite is multiplying by 8. So we're going to multiply by 8 on both sides. Now remember, when you multiply in a division, they both cancel out. So that leaves D, and 6 times 8 is 48. What you want to do is you also want to go back and double check. So since D is 48, we're going to plug it back in. So 48 divided by 8 is equal to 6. And that does check out to 6 equals 6. Now, let's take a look at a multiplication problem. We have 2 times P is equal to 54. Well, remember, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we can divide by 2 on both sides. The 2's cancel out because 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times P is P, equals, now 54 divided by 2 is 27. Now once you've solved that, you can go plug it back in. So I'm going to plug that 27 back in here. So 2 times 27 is equal to 54. And 2 times 27 is 54, therefore it checks out. Now, another thing you might want to do is if you were to have 2p equals 54. Now, remember, I told you that the opposite of multiplication is division, but also you can multiply by the reciprocal. So times 1/2. So 1/2 of 2 is 1. So it's the same thing as what we did above. So you're left with p. And 1/2 of 1/2 of 54 is 27. So again, notice I've gone about it 2 different ways. Here I divided, here I did the reciprocal. Now in this particular problem, this is a word problem, the perimeter of a regular pentagon, so remember perimeter means all the sides equal together, is 41.5 centimeters. Now when it says a regular pentagon, that means all the sides are the same. So you know what? Let's name them heart. Instead of a variable, let's name them all heart. Okay? Now, in this particular case, if I add all these together, that's 5 hearts. So one way of me writing it is 5 times heart. Well, if I multiply each measurement times 5, I should get 41.5 centimeters. Now, notice, again, like I said, I use a heart instead of an X or a Y. It's still a variable. Now what I'm going to do, since this is a multiplication problem, I can either multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 5 is 1 over 5. Or we can divide by 5. So if I divide by 5, either method is fine. So 5's cancel out, just like 5's cancel out here. Now, 41.5 times 1/5 is the same as saying 41.5 divided by 5. Now, only thing you can do is just divide it. 5 goes into 41 8 times, because 8 times 5 is 40, and you have 1.5 left over, which will be 0.3. So each measurement, or each side, is 8.3 centimeters. And if you wanted to double check that, you do 5 times 8.3 equals 41.5. 5 times 3 is 15, carry your 1. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 1 is 41.5, and sure enough, it checks out. Okay, now, your homework, which I've already passed out to you, I want you to only do the evens, 2 through 14, and number 15 is a bonus. I did number 13 in the video, so exclude number 13.